So Yiscah, we were just talking about Rav Kook and how powerful his writings are. In his writings, he has this distinction between like the Torah of Galut and the Torah of Exile of Geula. And I've heard you mention it to me in previous conversations, and I've also seen you here and there hint to it in your writings. So I want to ask you, what does it mean that there is a Torah of Galut? And what does it mean that there's a Torah of Geula, of Eretz Yisrael, for you, in your opinion?
So for me, in my experience, and I want to emphasize this is my experience. This is not Torah Misinai. This is a Torah Mimani. The Torah Galut, how I've come to see it in my life. And by the way, the text can be the same. It's the consciousness. It's not that there's a body of literature that's Torah Galut, and then there's a different body of literature. It's me as the learner. How am I interacting? How am I engaging with the text? So Galut, which we've spent as a nation the greater period of ours, if you want to start with the giving of the Torah 3,400 years ago, or from the times of our Avot and Imahot, we'll go close to 3,800 years ago, 39. We spent most of it in Galut. Galut, how I've experienced it, spiritually, how I see it, it could be in Yerushalayim, it could be in Tokyo, is survival. Many people throughout the years have said, we're a very special people because we've survived over all these years. And I'm thinking, I don't want to survive. If I have to survive, if life creates a certain situation where lack of food, God forbid, lack of shelter, there's oppression, well then yes, I have to survive. But I don't believe God created me to survive as the ultimate. And again, I really want to emphasize this is my experience, because my coming into Judaism in the 1970s was to survive. It was a survival technique, and that's how I related to it, which is why I believe I really did not sense Hashem's presence for all those years. And the word Gola, which is another word for Galut, which is being in exile, is the same letters as Geula, only the word Geula has Aleph in it, which is the presence of God, of the Echad. So what is Geula? It's taking everything that, for example, in my personal history, because my grandparents were born in America, my great-grandparents, their parents, all their prayers, and I sense that they prayed that someday down the line, there'd be someone in their family living in Yerushalayim. I mean, in Poland, in the Ukraine, in Russia, we're talking like in the mid-1800s. That was like such a dream. With tears, I visualize them crying to God from the place of survival, that there'd be somewhere down the line where they'd have a grandson, a grandchild, great, where that child did not have to survive but could thrive. And that's the Torah of Geula. It's where I'm able to see in my life beyond survival, beyond a space of scarcity, beyond a place like Reb Shlomo teaches, there's going to be a time, Habayim, Hayamim Ba'im, the prophet Amos said this, that there's going to be a Ra'avon, there's going to be a Tzama'on, there'll be a hunger, there'll be a thirst, it will not be for bread, it will not be for water, it will be to really hear and to taste the words of the living God. And he says that's when we're going beyond survival. That's when we want to go into our own Kodesh Kadoshim and really celebrate and thrive and produce more Torah of redemption, not of Galut.